Take me out to the ball game.
Chicago Cubs baseball is on the air from Wrigley Field in Chicago.
Welcome to Baseball Banter Broadcast. I'm Chris Northrop from Northrop on the Northside. With me today is Courtney from one of three podcasters for Glove Actually podcast. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Chris. I'm so excited to be here.
We're really glad to have you. One of the fun things for me to do as a baseball fan is to discover new ways to look at the game and to discover especially new voices in the game and to listen to new podcasts, old podcasts, new voices out there everywhere. It's always so much fun to find out who's saying what and how they're saying it. And so I wanted to bring you Glove Actually because these guys caught my attention. Immediately, I was hooked. First, Love Actually is my favorite Christmas movie. So I have to throw that out there. And I just had to know, really, it's one of my all-time favorite movies. I just had to know what connection could there be between this wonderful holiday rom-com and baseball. And so when I discovered listening to the podcast, I challenged myself to describe it. And I asked Courtney to correct me after I had done it, because I did my best. It's a podcast about everything, but not about everything. So I found that it celebrates romance, humor, heart, and the passion of the game. Of the fans of the game who appreciate baseball through writing and reading about it from new genres, new medias, and also new areas of interest. Who knew about golf romances?
Yes. So sports romance has been it's having a little bit of a moment right now in pop culture. So you're seeing a big uptick in sports romance. Like I said, particularly hockey romance is very, very popular right now.
Love it.
But of course, my favorite sport is baseball. I've always gravitated towards baseball. I've been a lifelong baseball fan. So kind of finding those areas where sports and other types of media intersect has always been really interesting to us. And the big boom in sports romance has I would say, carved out a little place for some additional conversation. And we're happy to take up a little bit of that space.
Yeah. And so you do, and it's wonderful. What kind of topics, when we tune in, do we typically find? I know one thing that I wanted to ask you about when I listen is that you have, every week, you have a Pookie of the Week. Am I right?
Yes.
Or
yes.
Not week. Do you guys do weekly? I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's Pookie of the Week. So, okay. Honestly, there's no topic that is too off topic for us. We always try to find a central thread that's going to kind of take us all the way through the episode. Sometimes we dedicate an episode to talking about one specific team. Sometimes we dedicate an episode to talking about one specific thing, like Taylor Swift. So whatever we do, we always figure out a way to bring it back to baseball. So, for example, something that a lot of people probably might not know is that Taylor Swift, when she was younger, before she signed with the record labels, was getting her start performing the national anthem at baseball games and sporting events.
Oh.
So, and she's someone that's inspired me a lot. And we took some time to kind of dive into which Taylor Swift songs we think would make good baseball walk-up songs. So it's always kind of like threading it back to that one singular kind of overarching topic for each episode. But back to your question, what is a Pookie? I've always said, and I will always say, that Pookie is a state of mind. So
love that.
when it comes to choosing a Pookie of the Week, we all kind of have our own different approaches to it. Hallie is very much a vibes person. She'll kind of pick out someone purely based, and it might not even have to do anything with the episode. Melissa tends to focus a lot more on current events and what's going on, who's having a really great week, who might not be having a really great week. My approach to choosing a Pookie of the Week is I always want to, one of my personal mottos, you'll hear me say this very often on the podcast, every day is a school day. So I like to learn something new whenever I can. I like to kind of push myself out of my current comfort zones in terms of teams and players that I'm familiar with. So I like to kind of skirt the edges and pick someone who I may have never even heard of, or someone who I would like to learn a little bit more about. So it's more so for me about choosing someone in that way. But what typically makes someone Pookie worthy is someone who's super silly, super kind, just displays a lot of like goofball, wholesome energy, especially in their real life. I think one of the really obvious Pookies that people think of when they think of who encapsulates the perfect Pookie, I would say a lot of people are going to think of someone like Kike Hernandez, who he's really fun to watch on the field, but off the field, he's even more fun to watch. Whether he's double fisting popsicles in the dugout, if he's, shaking his butt a little bit, he's always really fun to watch, and he's always really engaging. He never seems to take himself too seriously, but you know that he loves his team, he loves playing baseball, he loves his family, and he just loves people in general. So
right. And when we were talking off the air, when I thought of a Pookie, I thought of Jazz Chisholm, because he's having such an interesting week on social media, giving a little bit of a glimpse of himself, trying to be a little playful with fans, and unfortunately getting the smackdown from fans, because they're not just all around nice guys out there hanging around waiting for Jazz to impart some information,
Of course. And especially when it comes to baseball, I feel like there are certain players that if they play for your rival, you're automatically going to have like an automatic little bit of a spite towards them. Right. So you're just kind of waiting for them to step out of line or something to criticize about them. And I think a lot of people are taking advantage of that opportunity, unfortunately. Yeah. But I think he's just having a lot of fun going back and forth. And so he's said himself that he's trolling people, and he doesn't really take any of the comments to heart. No. And he's more so just kind of focused on just moving forward. A lot of the stuff was about his new fiance, and he's excited to be engaged to her, and that's good for him.
Yeah, it was fun to get a little glimpse into him. And one fun thing that I learned listening to your podcast, another potential Pookie for me, who's not a Yankee, is Bryce Harper. Because I understand that Bryce Harper may have read a romance novel or two in his time.
That is something that I actually just learned very recently. I have been learning more about the Phillies. We had our friend Kay Owancio come on and talk about her book Nailed at Home Plate, and she's a huge Phillies fan. So I got to learn a little bit more about the Phillies. That was my first kind of push into learning more about them. And I paid attention to Bryce Harper a lot more when he was on the Nationals, when he was a rookie. But now that he's been with the Phillies for a while, I know that a lot of people thought that the Phillies were going to go all the way this year, and I was one of them. I think that they are stacking up to have another great year next year, even if some folks may have changed hands. So I think that Bryce Harper is a really dynamic player. I love watching him. I know a lot of people think that he's kind of arrogant, but I don't really think you're arrogant if you have the talent to back it up.
I agree.
That's just me.
Yeah, if you can walk it, go for it. I love Harper, and I wanted the Yankees to get Harper back in the day, but that, water under the bridge. But he's fun to watch, and
for sure.
These guys have lives, and every now and then, I'm not the kind of fan myself that really wants to be inside of a player's life. Like some people really like knowing personal things. I have a friend who is actually a personal friend of an older Yankee, and that's like, wow, that's kind of, she been following him all her life. So that's just unimaginable to me. But to have fun with the fans, to be able to enjoy, their public image a little bit is good to see. And I love to get the little glimpse.
I think in this age of social media, I think a lot of the players are really careful about what they put out there and how they put themselves out there. But especially I know that a lot of them, I know that a lot of them do really enjoy all of the fans that support them. And it's always nice to see. It's always nice to see that gratitude. And I've said this before, just in conversations with others, but I feel like a lot of fans tend to forget that these professional athletes are at the core, they're humans. So no matter what happens, I think it would serve a lot of fans to remember that.
Right. And you know what's funny? I was doing some research today, and on the topic there that you just mentioned of them being human. And one of the ball players that I was researching had a baby due in the first half of the season and didn't necessarily perform at his best. And after July, when the baby was born, he took off like crazy and set records, and you know what I mean? Like, they're human beings, and
of
what
course.
they do, is for our entertainment, but they have lives and etc. around them, which is what makes the romance novels so compelling. I'm not a romance novel fan myself, but I can understand that being able to fictionalize the lives of players, etc., or even other fans, would be interesting and exciting, and would be a window into what makes the game tick, what makes people love the game, etc.
I think if you're looking to get into romance, sports romance is a great place to start. There is a pretty low barrier of entry in terms of the knowledge base that you need to have. You'll see a lot of the same elements of the game reflected in the story, so you're able to follow it pretty easily. And then on top of that, I wouldn't necessarily, if you're trying to get into romance novels, start with a fantasy novel first, per se. But if you start with a sports romance novel, it's a lot easier to say, okay, well, he's a baseball player, I know what he does. It doesn't take a lot more, critical thinking to understand.
Exactly. And, along the lines of what you were just saying, I know that you're a Ryan O'Hearn fan.
I am.
We talked about this, as you and I were preparing. I was saying, are you guys O's fans? Is someone a Padres fan? Because I'm listening to your podcast. I'm like, oh my gosh, now all of a sudden, we're following Padres, which I love. That's fun too. And we can be fans of many teams at the same time, which, as you know, I'm a dual fan. I'm a Yankee fan, but I grew up a Cub fan. And now I consider myself dual nationed. And people who call me a fake fan for being like that, I just let it go in one ear and out the other, because baseball fandom is whatever you decide it is. Yeah, in my opinion. But anyway, so you're a fan of Ryan O'Hearn, but will you tell us about your fan journey in general, and tell us what where it will lead you in this upcoming season, do you think?
Yeah. So I grew up watching baseball. My dad took my sister to Orioles games when we were growing up. So I got to see Cal Ripken play a few times, which was really great.
Wow.
I grew up in the Cal Ripken era.
Yep.
So as I got older, we also went to a lot of minor league games as well. Whenever we would go to Ocean City on vacation, we would stop and we would do a Delmarva Shorebirds game. There was a period of time when I was 12 or 13 where we had tickets to the Aberdeen Ironbirds, who they've swapped between the high A and the low A affiliate for the Orioles. But I grew up watching baseball a lot. Baseball was always something that was woven into me. As I got older, my hobbies tended to skew more towards dance and theater and the performing arts. So it skewed away from paying attention, but I always kind of had my finger on the pulse of what was going on with the Orioles. I wouldn't necessarily say that I had my finger on the pulse of what was going on with every other team, specifically the Orioles. So as I've gotten older and as I've, gotten into different careers that have offered and afforded me different schedules, I've had a chance within the last few seasons to kind of laser focus in on what's going on with the Orioles. And it was the 2023 season when Ryan O'Hearn came to the Orioles, and I went to a game and I saw him. He was signing autographs kind of close to where we were sitting, because we were like a row off of the field. And I loved the way that he was interacting with the fans. So I was like, I'm going to pay attention to him. So he played really great the rest of the game that we watched. And then for the rest of the season, I was zeroed in on Ryan O'Hearn. Yeah. I learned more about him. I learned he came from Kansas City. I learned that he kind of revamped his entire baseball career in Baltimore, which was really cool. With the way that the season was sort of playing out last year, the Orioles were riddled with injuries. And it was really hard to watch them have the season that they had because everyone expected so much of them after having done so well the last two seasons. So watching them not do as great as everyone expected was difficult, but Ryan O'Hearn being one of the more tenured players, because a lot of the Orioles roster skews pretty young. So Ryan O'Hearn being one of the more tenured players and having more experience, he took on a bit of like a leadership role within the clubhouse. So, the younger players are looking up to him, and it just kind of, he's sort of like this benchmark example of, it doesn't matter how bad of a season I might have had last year. I can come back and I can work hard. I can figure out where my weak spots are, and I can get better if I want to.
Right.
And that's something that's always kind of stuck with me. So that's why I've stuck with him. So when he was traded at the deadline last season, I was like, I don't care if it means I have to watch East Coast and West Coast baseball. I will become a Padres fan. And I did. So last season, I started back in like May. I started a Ryan O'Hearn fan account on Instagram, and he got traded. So I was interacting with a lot of Orioles Instagram fan accounts. Once he got traded, I was interacting with a lot of San Diego fan accounts. So it's been really fun to meet all these new people. I've met a few Pirates fan accounts now that he's been signed by the Pirates for a couple of years. So I am really looking forward to seeing him thrive in that new environment. There are a couple additions that I think the Pirates should make to kind of make them as ready for the season as they could be.
Surround him with talent.
Exactly. I think, honestly, if they got Harrison Bader out in the outfield with Andrew McCutchen and O'Neal Cruz, unstoppable outfield. Come on.
No. Aren't they going to land Okamoto?
Possibly. The Pirates also just picked up Jake Mangum and Brandon Lau from the Rays, who are they're my local team because I'm here in Florida. So I get to see the Rays a lot. So I've seen Brandon and Jake play a lot. They're really, really fun to watch. And they've got a lot to offer as teammates. So I think that Ryan O'Hearn has a lot to offer as a teammate. He has some of the most fantastic plate discipline out of anyone that I've watched play. So I think ABS coming, all these new changes coming, there's going to be a lot to look forward to. And I never thought I'd say this, but I'm excited to be a Pittsburgh fan.
Yes. Well, you know what? I lived in Pittsburgh and did my graduate work there. I went to graduate school at Duquesne, and I love Pittsburgh sports. I mean, of course, I was there in like 83 through 85 or so, which were down years. They were, the glory years were past. It was such a great place to watch a baseball game, though, because you could pay that $10 at general admission and sit anywhere.
Anywhere.
Because there was no one in the stadium.
It feels almost sacrilegious as like a Baltimore sports fan and as a Ravens fan specifically to be like, yes, I'm excited to cheer for Pittsburgh, but here we are.
But here we are.
I'm not going to be cheered for Pittsburgh on Sunday.
Oh, no.
That's a winner takes all into the playoffs. Come on, let's go.
100%. How does Glove actually engage with its fans? How do you reach them? How do they reach you? Tell us where to find you guys too.
Yes. So the podcast itself can be found on Spotify. And then we added Apple Podcasts. So we're on Apple Podcasts. We are now also on Amazon Podcasts. And as of last week, we are now fully uploaded. All of our episodes are now up on YouTube. And as the new year comes and we get more episodes to put up, those will go up on YouTube as well. So any Google subscribers will be able to find them there. And then where we do the most interacting with our fans is via Instagram or Threads. We do also have a TikTok that we are working on getting that up a little bit more. That is a goal for the new year. But primarily Instagram or Threads is the best way to get a hold of us. We all have access to the account. So if you DM us, you'll get one of us. It's probably going to be me, but you never know.
Have you thought about doing live stuff on YouTube and chatting?
Yes.
That's what we did when I did my previous podcast.
That is something that we are hoping to get in the works at some point in 2026. It's likely going to be around the actual baseball season that we start to do that, because we do have a few very exciting episodes that we're going to be recording coming up. We've got a couple kind of in the chamber that are ready to put up that I'm really excited about, that we will be. So today is December 30th. On New Year's Day, so in 2 days, we are going to announce our first episode for 2026 with our first special guest. So I'm super excited about that. We've got a couple of really, really great and exciting ideas that we're rolling out for 2026. But the thing that I'm probably most excited about is you're actually going to be participating in this. It's going to be our divisional roundtable where we go division by division. We've got one fan from each team who's going to be the representative participant to talk about everything that we're looking forward to with the season, the players to look out for. Everybody's going to pick their Pookie of the week or their Pookie of their team. So you're going to have an opportunity to bring a Pookie to Glove. Yay! Actually. So keep that in mind. But yeah, there's a lot of really exciting things coming. And I'm just so looking forward to everything that we're going to accomplish in 2026. If you had asked me at the beginning of 2025 if I thought I'd have a podcast by the end of the year, I don't think I would have said yes, but here we are.
That they sneak up on you like that.
You really do.
I didn't know I would have a podcast at the end of this year either. Now, I want to just segue a little bit over to the side of the show where you guys talk to authors, because I listened to an episode where you brought on the author of one of the sports novels.
Yes.
And tell me, how do you go about, finding the authors, getting them on the show, that sort of thing?
So we were really lucky. We just kind of organically came in contact with Kay Awancio, who is the author of Nailed at Home Plate, which is the it's the banana ball inspired romance.
Right.
And the team in the book is called the Philly Sillies, because she's a Phillies fan. Right. So she's got like a whole series that's going to be coming out. So the book is going to turn into a series. So we were able to get in touch with her pretty organically. We just happened to be able to connect with her via DMs, and everything kind of worked out in our favor, which was really lovely. So we were really lucky in those terms. I feel like a lot of it is about catching the author on the right platform at the right time. All of that kind of, once it comes together, it really creates something kind of beautiful. And she's been so great about supporting us. We are more than happy to support her. She was so lovely when she came on. So honestly, if anyone's thinking about trying to collaborate with anyone else, legitimately, just reach out. What's the worst that could happen?
Right, exactly. I am so fascinated that the market for sports romance is as big as it is. And that are the books, now I have not read any of these. Are the books, would you say, for an adult audience, or are they teen? More adult? Okay.
I would definitely say adult. So if you go into a lot of the independent retailers that sell these types of books, a lot of them are going to be able to tell you based on the title, what I'm going to refer to, and what I refer to on Glove Actually, as the chili pepper rating. So how spicy is this book? So there are books that the level of spice is kept to an absolute minimum, and it's not as explicit, but there are some that are very explicit. So it's important to understand the chili pepper rating as you are searching for your book.
Yeah. One thing that I wanted to ask you about was the New Romantics Book Club.
Yeah.
That's something that people can join through you guys?
So New Romantics is a local independent bookstore that's local to myself and Hallie here in Orlando. So they are actually the ones who host the book clubs. So if you're interested in anything having to do with the New Romantics book clubs, then you can definitely reach out to them via their Instagram or their Threads account. But we don't have anything to do with that. So Hallie and I were there, and we were shooting our shot to see if we could get someone from the bookstore to come on the podcast to talk sports romance. And we were lucky enough that someone was able to, I'm not joking, within like 3 days, we were able to set it up.
That's so incredible.
So it was really great. And a lot of the independent booksellers are very, very easy to collaborate with. So again, it never hurts to ask. No, it never hurts to ask. And, I recently interviewed an author with Jeremy, the Baseball Banter Broadcast, the head of our broadcast team. And it was such a great experience. He was a baseball author, but, just that people experience their fandom in so many different ways. I mean, on the one hand, you have, someone who enjoys it, experiencing it through a sports novel. On the other hand, you have someone who's an academic who can experience it, by analyzing and crunching the numbers.
researching the history. So, the wonderful thing about baseball, of course, is there's something for everyone. And I found that I think with your podcast, people ought to tune in whether they like romance novels or not, because there's definitely something everyone can learn and from listening to you guys. Last but not least, I wanted to ask you for your predictions, and this is a purely baseball question.
Purely predictions.
For some of the free agent landings.
Okay.
Let's start with MI. What the heck is going on there?
Can you say that one more time?
MI? Do you think MI will land with the White Sox? That's the most recent team that's kind of snuck in. Who else?
So I'm not 100% sure, just because I feel like I don't know enough about him to gauge where he would land well and what team he would kind of fit in well with, which is because he's coming from, who is he coming from?
He's coming from the NPB from Japan.
That's what I thought. So a lot of times with the NPB, it's difficult to say how they're going to adjust to the way that the American players play the game.
Right.
So, of course, you want someone, theoretically, you want a Shohei every time. But do you get a Shohei every time? No. But I think there are a lot of teams that could benefit from his experience within the NPB. A lot of the teams that tend to skew a little bit younger, I feel like could get a lot of use out of him. The Rays could probably get a lot of use out of him.
Oh, the Rays, they could get a lot of use out of anybody. I could go down there.
You're so right.
They could teach me how to pitch.
Me.
I have a lot, I guess, as a Yankee fan, I have too much faith in the Rays pitching.
Maybe a little bit.
Too much
well,
respect.
now that they've traded Shane Baz, I don't know what they're going to do. They've got to get somebody.
Yeah, they're going to have a whole new crop of people to amaze us. That's
I know.
They come up with them. What about Tucker? Do you think Tucker?
I think Tucker will go to the Blue Jays. I think the Blue Jays.
I do too.
I think the Blue Jays will let Bo Bichette go. I think they will let him free. Yeah. And I think I think they're going to give Tucker whatever he wants, and everything else is just going to come second to what they can do to get Kyle Tucker.
I think that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Tucker fits with the Blue Jays. They want to win a World Series. They were that close. They know it. They feel it. They're hungry. They still want it. Bo Bichette, that's a whole nother can of worms right there, because, he's such a great hitter. And
of course.
But, his defense is not quite exactly what, up to what one would wish.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see whether he whether he does get, go back to Toronto, which I actually think is what's going to happen, because I can't see where else he would land.
I could see him landing maybe somewhere with the Texans.
All right. I hadn't really thought about them. I thought about the Cubs because there's been some rumors about Nico maybe being traded and stuff, and maybe
no way.
There have been some rumblings, that Nico's walk year. This is his walk year, so
wow.
But anyway, what about Bellinger? Do you think Bellinger will go back to the Yankees? That seems to be what Yankee fans really want.
I think it would make sense for the Yankees to keep him. Do I think that it's possible that he might end up somewhere maybe like Detroit? Maybe.
Yeah. Especially with the price tag and the amount of years that he's asking. I don't see the Yankees bending on that at this point. I really don't. And as far as Tucker going back maybe to the Cubs, I don't see that happening either. The price tags are too high for those two franchises. They're not, Chicago is not LA. They're not going to lay out for, I don't believe that, but I swear.
It's funny you mentioned that though, because Baltimore is notorious for not spending, but they are the second highest spenders in this offseason now that they've got Pete Alonso.
Right. Well, that just tells you that there's something wrong with this offseason.
Listen, this is an anomaly of an offseason, and I'm enjoying it. So
it is. But lucky, at least the Orioles are benefiting from it.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on and talking to me today.
Of
I learned
course.
so much from your podcast. I'm going to keep listening and getting the great tips for things to read, other podcasts. Who knows what you guys have cooked up?
We've got lots of really fun stuff cooking for 2026. So I'm excited for everything that we've got going. And I can't wait for you to join us for the divisional roundtable. It's going to be so fun.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm prepping even as we speak.
Awesome.
You guys, don't forget to give us a comment. Tell us whether or not you like Bryce Harper, whether you like a sports romance novel or not. Whether
or not you like Ryan O'Hearn.
Whether you like Ryan O'Hearn. Don't forget to like, subscribe. And again, thanks for joining us. And Courtney, thank you so much for coming on. We've really enjoyed having you. Keep us posted with any exciting news you have.
Will do. This was so much fun. Thank you so much for having me. This has been an absolute pleasure.
All right, great. Thanks so much. Have a good evening, everyone.
Bye, everybody.